So let's start with a little story. I wanted to make, I'm a fan of small talk, as all the addicts you are in the room. And I want to make us a list of events. So I want to attend, I'm planning to attend. I'm attending ISAG, it's already started. And I want to have a countdown. Where is the next one? I'm planning to attend Zurich. It's organized by Peter and Michel. Where are they in the room? Thank you, guys. Great event. So if you are in Zurich area, come and join. So the next one is in 100 or so, 7 days or so. It's the end of October. Okay, I want to make this page, and I want the thing to update every second, and have different views that evolve over time. Like ISAG, it's already started. I had a countdown before, and now since it started, I have a different view. But you know, for those who know me, I'm a lazy guy. I don't like to code. I prefer to steal things that are done by others that are better than me. So, how to do it? And the answer is web components. So, I'm Nouri. I will talk about web components. For those who don't know me, I'm a professor by day and a developer by night. I'm making an educational software, commercial products, a SaaS product that I'm selling for some universities. I don't have that many users yet, so I don't have the scaling problem, but hopefully I will have them someday. So my talk is about web components and, of course, small talk. You know, I'm addict. So web components, it's a W3C standard. Basically, it allows you to create your own custom HTML tags that encapsulate, of course, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all in one. And you can find libraries around. Webcomponent.org is the main one, but there are others, and there are libraries. I don't know who mentioned it's Shoelace. You mentioned Shoelace. Yes, it's well-known too. Yes. So with web components, how would you do it? Like this page, basically you have you put the tags, countdown timer, and the starting date, the heading, the information you need, and it's there. So I'm reusing it from. Actually, I put a shorter link, but there is a CDN, and you say, okay, download download it from the web, and I put my tag, and it does exactly that web page. This is how I built it. Right. And this is if I have general problems that were already solved. It's still what's available there. But if I have special requirements, like my special PLC 3000 app, how should I do it? So in Smalltalk, we should be doing it, right? So for instance, let's pick a small example, a tiny example. So I often use counters, so I want to implement a counter. So I will be in my, what's happening? Oh, it's reconnecting again, okay. So I have some connection issue. So if I want to have a page with a counter, I will just, I want to have my counter inserted into the HTML, but how do I build this special tag? So to know this, we need a bit of background. So we have every browser, when you provide it with HTML, I'm starting with the obvious, but okay, that's to build on top of it. It's instantiate in the background JavaScript objects. So we have different HTML class elements classes, subclasses of HTML elements, and it's instantiate these classes, and you have an object for the whole HTML part. For each tag, basically, you have an object. And so this is called the DOM, the document object model. So if I want to add my own tag, I need to create a special class that plugs into the JavaScript or subclass, the JavaScript HTML elements. And since I want to make it to make a clean design, I will separate between obviously the view part and the model part and the controller. Basically, simplified version of MVC. I have this counter component that will be, it's the red here, and it will be referencing using two other classes, one for the model and one for the view. But those are HTML for if you take the view. This is HTML with CSS, not Smalltalk, of course. Luckily, there are smart people who worked there before, and they made Seaside. Thank you to Master Yuan and Master Philip and all the other Jedis that made the work. So we can build on top of this. So actually, I'm not using the full Seaside, just stealing the HTML generation part of it. And basically, if I want to create this view, I want to have a div that provides the text for displaying the counts, one button for incrementing, one button for decrementing, one button for resetting. This is what I need. And in Seaside, this is how we have to write it. This is exactly what we are doing in WebST. We take this and reuse it. So, view solved. The counter is business as usual. Okay, it's trivial. We have a class counter, increment, decrement, and so on. And okay, there is a small announcer observer pattern, so we don't nothing fancy there. And yes, we have of course the MVC. So because the model observe or the view observe the model and so on. I don't know what it's kind of progressing on its own, so I need to be careful. So in the framework, WebST framework, you have to initialize the model. You say, okay, it will, by default, when you provide the class, it will instantiate it, and then you need to make the connection. So whenever the count evolves, you need to update the display. And on the initialization, we need them to be in sync, so we need to do the first update on initialization. And update display is basically calling the text content of the display from the model. Here, we're starting to see something strange. If you open the code here in Pharo, you say, oh, I don't know text content. This is not a known selector. Of course, because we are talking to DOM objects. So this code will will work fine in JavaScript. Okay, we don't need to discuss more on subscribing and observing. And when we initialize the view, we say, okay, on click. So this is part of the framework. It wraps and simplifies what's available in JavaScript and handling events and say, okay, when you click on the button, do a block. So we are writing it the Smalltalk way, but at the end, so it's JavaScript API. So we need to deal with it. And we deal with it with Pharo.js. So the idea of Pharo.js. So how many know Pharo.js? Okay, good. So basically, I will not say more than the motto is develop in Pharo. Now we have version 12, yahoo! And we generate JavaScript. So on deployments, we run on JavaScript. And again, we don't take everything from Pharo.js. We take the HTML, the JavaScript generation from Smalltalk. We take the link to third-party libraries, so we can use. So still, no, I'm lazy. So I steal libraries whenever they are available. If they are in Smalltalk, fine. If they are not in Smalltalk, JavaScript, I can take it. Okay. So we can start from Smalltalk, and with Seaside and Pharo.js, we generate HTML and JavaScript. What about CSS? I'm lazy, so I'm always looking for another solution. So reuse as much as I can. So basically, CSS at the end, it translates into properties of JavaScript object. So let's use JavaScript, but I don't want to use the JavaScript, so I use Pharo.js to use JavaScript to deal with the styling. Of course, for the things that I cannot set up using upon the HTML generation with Seaside. So example of famous library for styling and everything. It's Bootstrap, so nothing new. It's one possible candidate. It's the one that I start using for experiments, but nothing mandatory there. You can use whatever you want. And so when you create the view, you decide to say, okay, I want to use this CSS, I want to use this JavaScript, I want to use whatever thing. Those are extra resources that we will need to carry, dependencies that you will carry with your component. So when you render in the CSS resources, again, thank you, Seaside. So there is already something related to that. So we say, okay, I want a link, and it's a style sheet, and this is the URL, and done. Nothing to do. Lazy, perfect. And if I want to import extra JavaScript, again, same thing, and you will have it. Just say it's a script, and the type is text JavaScript. So we are able to deal with HTML, with CSS, with JavaScript. You wrap everything, add some framework to utility to make classes to make things easier, and we have our web components. And this is WebST. Maybe we'll keep the demo till the end. Okay, let's go. So with WebST, we generate standalone web clients. So we develop in Smalltalk. We have I will show you later the process, the development process. So as usual, you use your test-driven development, always, right? And you do the debugging, you implement your code in the browser, you experiment with the playground, everything. And then at the end, when you are happy, okay, deploy. This is what you call it, sealing. Yes, thank you. You seal, and it's there. It can be fully standalone. It can include your components can decide to send messages to a server. It's up to you, except that it's all JavaScript and HTML. So we have our little counter components. Oh, yes. And I want to make something fancy. Say, oh, okay, there is a football match between Spain and France. Okay, should take another example. It was a good one. But okay, let's say there is a match, and I want to count the scores. And yes, okay, I have counters. But okay, there isn't only one match. It's a championship. There are multiple matches. So I don't want to create as many, so many things. I want to have one component per match. That will give me the score. Okay, but looks like a counter. Already did it. And I have other components I want to reuse. Why not? Why should be a dummy text? Should be something that I can edit, and so on. Okay. Composite, right? Components, we can put, this is nothing new. The idea is there, but we want just reuse it. Compose components. So what we have in this score component, it have 5 different components, 2 counters. We have 3 text areas, one for the name of the match, the title of the match, and one for the name of each player. And those are all different components. Here I use 3 instances from instances of 2 different classes, 3 from editable text and 2 from counter. Put them together and make a new component. And this is how, the connection that I will be doing it, or the implementation that I will be doing it. I will create a new components class, and this class doesn't need a model. It needs just a special view, and the view, all it does, it says, okay, render this one and put them like this, basically. And a line in this rendering will be like this. HTML, render the class, you want the component class you want to render, and provide attributes if you want to add attributes for the setup. And then with the upper parts here, don't know if you see, yes, this is what you write, and this is what you get. And that's it. So thank you, Seaside. Thank you, Pharo.js. And we have our new component that we can reuse and make bigger components or whatever thing. And yes, I want more. I want 100% Smalltalk all the time. So I want to go, what if I have a client-server application? How should I do it? I want to develop in Smalltalk, but I have constraints on my target. My device has few resources. I cannot deploy Smalltalk for some reason. It happened to me. And so develop all in Smalltalk and generate the client and server. This is we can do. I don't have slide for it. I will show it in demo. And then, of course, I said it. We want test-driven development. We can have test-driven development where you develop your tests that tests what happens on the client, on the side, and the server. Like you have a form that you fill the form, you click, and you see, do we get the data on the server side? And we have connection to both sides, and we can check everything. So that's what I was saying. And the logic is always like stolen from Pharo.js is we develop 100% in Pharo, write the test, pass the test, and when we are happy, everything green, we export, and we get HTML and JavaScript. And then we can seal it, deploy. So this is the overall idea. Just to finish before the demo, so I will not come back to the slides. So this is WebST allows a first connection between Seaside and Pharo.js. Actually, the initial idea is a discussion with Johan, which was about having stronger connections. So there is some possible improvements, further improvements, some work to do on Pharo.js and some on Seaside to improve this. But again, this is one way that's to address the problem for specific requirements. There are other requirements. Sometimes if I can all the time have my Pharo image, Pharo VM and work with it, that will be fine. But it doesn't fit everywhere. So maybe sometimes I want to have Code Paradise or Egg Smalltalk or Willow components. Everything, a website. Yes, we want website too. So everything. So this is my dream, is to connect with everyone. And that's it. So we can go on with the demo. So I didn't track the time. I thought I didn't start at... Okay, good. So I'm using scale factor. Is it readable? Okay, so I know luckily Steph is not here because he will complain. He doesn't like scale factor because of aliasing. But, okay, this is the fastest and the cleaner way I found so far. So if you have better option, I'm taking it. Oh, okay. He came afterwards. Nothing. Don't say anything. Okay. So let's start with the counter. So to implement a counter, I plug into the framework. I say, okay, my count. Oh, maybe let me show the counter app. This is. I define my application, my example application as a class, and I can open a playground on the application. So what it does, okay, it's difficult to have both side by side, but let me try like this. Okay. So what it does, it generates HTML, JavaScript, open it into the web browser with some extra code to connect to a server running in Faro. So I'm in development mode, so I can show you this and can say, and then I can interact with stuff like with JavaScript objects like window or APIs, alert, hello ESAG, and we have it here. Okay, this is the basic thing. And then we can say, okay, I need the dots here to document, query selector. Okay, it's in red because it's a JavaScript API. It's not, there is no counterpart in Faro. But I say, okay, counter component. What's the tag? It has a tag. And okay, and now we have an inspector on the counter. So we can say self increment. No, I need to talk to the model. I don't know. Okay, it works. And of course, I can go here and interact with it the other way around, right? And then I can ask self count. Okay. Oh, does not understand. Of course, I'm talking to the wrong guy. It's part of the model. Okay, give me the model and give me the count. Okay, it's 0. Okay, so I have access to the DOM. I can talk to objects. But okay, I want just first I want to give you the glimpse of the resulting app before diving into the code. And if I open the inspector, what do I have in my HTML? I have a tag, my custom tag called WS for WebST counter. Okay, and then of course inside I have the link to the CSS I need and everything. But this is hidden. If you export the source, you don't have it. This is expanded for debugging purpose only. Okay, so if I go, let's grow. With counter. Okay, let's counter model. We have a model, and okay, it's provide count, it's increments, decrements, nothing. It's really trivial. No, I'm looking for counter view. Counter view, I say, okay, thank you. I depend on, I require Bootstrap because I'm using Bootstrap, but otherwise I can be using another CSS thing. By the way, if I look at this one, all it says, okay, we need Bootstrap 5 related resources. And what are Bootstrap 5 related resources? Should show up somewhere. Okay, let's show you this again. But this is done once for all, and then you can reuse the CSS. And you see there is a CSS link and a JavaScript. So then upon rendering, if we have multiple components that are combined together, multiple views and everything, we check that to minimize redundancy. So we import the CSS only once, obviously, and the JavaScript only once. That's it. And if I go to, where is it? To the score, to show a composite. So this is rendering, where is it? Render outer HTML. Okay, so this is what, so I have some stuff around, but what matters is that, okay, I have a div with some CSS from CSS classes from Bootstrap, and I say render this component, and this is the attributes, and render, I want 2 players, so render as many times as we want those players. And then we have our score component. Where is it? score example. Yes, I want this one. Again, I'm experimenting. I should have showed you the code again before, or the testing before, but here. And we have, again, one single component. So all the logic is encapsulated inside. And of course, we can say, OK, yes, maybe. So those are extra components. And I say, OK, Spain. And OK, it hurts, but OK, let's do it. And France. And here, Euro. OK, I didn't finish. OK, right. OK, reset. And yeah, we won. OK, that's the overall idea. And they are, and if I increment this one, of course, you see they are decoupled, right? And OK, this is like we are playing in the playground and trying to debug and understand if everything is working out, especially if you are doing the visual stuff. You want to check the visual stuff. But for actually, I say TDD, where are your tests? And OK, I was working on something else. Library, where is it? Counter. OK, too many. Where is counter? OK. Counter. So there is an extension of the framework for testing. So basically here I'm testing a component. So it's a unit test. And for each component, basically I need to override certain method. Here it's an MVC component. So I need to check if there are different layers, but we need to check that the view and the model are actually linked and the dependency is there. And if we want to change the model value, it will impact everything. And let me narrow this just to show you a glimpse of what happens. So if I click, OK, this one, click here and run the test. So it opens, it runs the various tests, and it's green. OK. And of course, we run it from the browser. You run it with the test runner, and it's the same. So basically, the process of development, we stay in Faro. Well, when we need to go to see what happens outside is to just to check other libraries, like Bootstrap. OK, I want to use Bootstrap, and there are, I want, where is it? Bootstrap, yes. I want to use some dialog. OK, give me the dialog and how it works. And then from there, analyze the HTML, go to Faro, reproduce it, and we have it. And that's it. So, and we start with this, and the goal is to go to, so my target. OK, maybe I should show the application soon. We have 2 minutes. So this is, I have a first version of my application that was developed with Faro.js, but I've written all the HTML by hand. Not that good, because it's deployed, and there is no Faro running there. And it had multiple pages, multilingual, and then like we have like complex views. Let's open one, for instance. Hopefully it works. And we have like different views. We can, let's say, OK, close this one. It's a programming environment for teaching factory automation. And there is, so basically, if you take the visual, there is a visual editor. OK, let me show you. The instruction view, OK, this is basically just plain text. There are environments for programming in 3 different languages. Hopefully, we'll get a 4th one by fall. There is a view simulation of the computer, the PLC, programmable logic controller. And there is a physics simulation. And it's all connected. So like if I write, show me the code. If I write, where is it? I say, okay, read this input. Let's say, don't know why it's dark. And my computer gets dark. And okay, and then write that output. I don't know which, I'm just guessing. I don't have a clear view. And then run, and here it's talking to a Faro image, and it's the only time it's talked to a Faro image actually, for just for compiling, and then we can have, let me see if it works. Oh, I picked the wrong one. No, stay on page. Okay, that's anyway. It should be doing like something like this. Oh, stop this, like this, and we can have stuff that is working. There is a physics engine. I didn't implement, of course, I'm lazy. So, and but implement some components. All the components, I implemented them myself because they weren't there. So like here, it's an electromagnet, and I can turn it on, and then it will catch the component, and I can move it around and say, okay, drop it, boom. And so it's used for teaching, and students like to play with it to understand how things. So basically, this is my target application. I have constraint to have all the client side in JavaScript, and the rest is okay, but development, of course. I'm an addict. So that's it. Thank you.
Is there any questions?
Okay, my skills for cheating ChatGPT are newbie, so I didn't do that advanced drawings, but those are also generated, of course.
Yes, my question is about the workspace, because when you execute the code there, you are not executing the code.
Actually, it transpiles. So if you write in Faro, it transpiles to JavaScript, send it to JavaScript, performs, and get the result, and does some serialization back and forth. There are proxies involved, of course.
Okay.
And, yeah. But you can still have variables, like you can have a, let's open a playground on this. Okay, where is my Faro? And I can say, okay, C is document, let's call it all components, all or counters. Okay, let's say count. Naming is difficult, right? And query selector R, if I remember correctly, selector R. Yeah, with the S or without? Without the S, yes, right. Thank you. And then it's count. Oh no, we have the score. We cannot dig inside. Score component, and okay. Oh yes, of course. Tag name. Thank you. And tag name, and here, so I can say, okay, all counters first. Inspect, and so I can have variables and pass things parameter to object locally or pass things remotely. This is works fine most of the time. There are a lot of improvements. Yes, there are many. We have many things. At the end, it started as a project just to generate JavaScript without anything, and then say, oh, it will be nice to have development and want to have this and that and that and that, and now it's one big monolithic project, and the roadmap is to split this, but okay. with Dave, we are having a weekly session to work on Pharo.js and improve. Sometimes we do extra hours to get some deadlines, like have the version ready for ISAC. But yes, it's a work in progress. But usable, enough so we can trust it to build stuff with it. Yeah.
Sorry, we are 17 minutes late. I need to cut the question.
Yes.
Thank you, Nuri.
Thank you.